everybody! Guess what? I'm back! So, as you all know, if you have been watching these videos, which hopefully you have, I just got back from a cruise from Mexico, which was so fun. I read, I ate, mostly that was the main activity that I did. Lots of free desserts, so obviously I ate all of those, and it was great. I am not here to talk about the cruise, though. I'm here to talk about what I read on the cruise, and more specifically, a book that The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer. Okay, I had very, very high expectations for this sucker. I just thought that it was going to be amazing. So sometimes when you have really high expectations, you're a little bit let down at the end. So let's get started. I'm going to start on a positive note and tell you guys everything that I liked about the book, first and foremost, because I have very mixed feelings about it. I don't know. I know that I liked some of it and I didn't like other parts of it, and it just have a lot of feelings that I don't understand. It's kind of like breaking up with a boyfriend you don't really like. Breaking up is never fun, but it's a really, no, that's not a good comparison. Yeah. If you don't want anything to be spoiled about this book, this is going to be chock full of spoilers, so leave now or forever hold your peace. I don't want to hear that I spoiled the book for you, because there's a warning right here and right now. If you have not read this book and you do not want it to be spoiled, bye. See you later. Are they gone? Okay. The one thing that I really did love about this book was Mara's relationship with her brothers. Daniel was possibly my favorite character in this whole thing. He is her older brother, and he just loves her so much, and he puts up with so much of her crap, and I don't really know why, but he's amazing. He's such a good brother. He sticks up for her. He's smart. He's successful. He's trying to have a normal life, even though his sister is batshit crazy, and it's just, he's such a good character. And I liked Joseph as well, her younger brother. I just feel like they sacrifice so much for Mara. She and her craziness and death and shit moves them from their town where they have friends, they have a life. Daniel is probably doing really well there, and they move to friggin' Florida where nobody wants to live, really, and they have such a good attitude about it to her. I feel like if Mara had to move somewhere for Daniel, we would never hear the end of it. She would be so complainy and so selfish, but they are just so good about it, and I love them for that. Sorry, I had to open the window because it's hot in here. Another thing that I really enjoyed about this book was the creep factor. The hallucinations were so well written. I really was so freaked out by them, and I didn't know what was going on, which I know some people actually didn't like about the book, but that was actually something that I enjoyed about it. I'm trying to think of other things that I really liked. I liked the writing. The writing itself was good. She's clearly a great author. In times when Mara isn't being completely insufferable, she's actually really funny and quirky and fun to read. We'll get to the other parts that she is later. I'm definitely going to read the second one. It drew me in. The cliffhanger ending was great. I look forward to the next one. I hope that it is not one of those like matched situations where I'm like okay about the first one and then the second one is just even more abysmal. I'm hoping that this one really takes off after this. Okay, people, let's talk about what I hated. Okay, not hated. Let's talk about what I didn't like. Mara makes the mistake that so many of our protagonist YA literature people make. She undercommunicates. She doesn't say things to people that she cares about that she should tell them. And then, when they try to communicate with her, she over-communicates and doesn't let them speak. For instance, she and Noah go to save Joseph, and she winds up thinking that it's a dream, and so instead of getting in his car the next day and being like, dude, I had the craziest dream, boyfriend, my brother was stolen and we had to go find him, and him being like, actually, Mara, that wasn't a dream, that was reality, that happened, let's talk about it. She just doesn't say anything to him. I feel like I would tell my boyfriend, like,
yo, boyfriend, I had a crazy-ass dream last night and you were in it. Weird.
That could have saved them a lot of trouble if they would just talk like a normal couple, but they don't. An instance where Mara over-communicates or does not let Noah communicate to her is when he's trying to tell her something really important and she's just like, shut your mouth, come cuddle with me. Which is all fine and cute, except for, damn it, Mara, he was trying to tell you something really important. And I just feel like Noah should have been like, actually, sorry bitch, it's not cuddle time. It is time for us to talk about the fact that I can heal things and that I hear voices in my head. Let's just get that out of the way. I'd like to tell you that. But no, she has to cut him off and make him just as non-communicative as she is, and it's infuriating. I felt like Mara's reactions to some of the things that were going on in her life. My shade is making a weird noise. I have to fix this. Okay, yes, Mara's reactions to things in her life that were just crazy were not the reactions that she should have had. She goes into the doctor after burning her arm, which she doesn't freak out about, by the way. Does bath water get that hot? I don't think so. I've never had a 3-degree burn from my bath water or hot tub from leaving it in there for a few hours, so that would probably freak me the heck out. But she's just like, oh, I guess I put my arm in the bathtub for too long. It happens. No, Mara, no, that doesn't happen. Her reactions when she goes into the doctor and sees that her arm is healed. She's just like, oh, fancy that! I have a healed arm and no pain. Awesome. And she doesn't, like, tell the doctor, like, this is actually kind of abnormal. I don't know what's happening here. This shit is crazy. Whack. This is whack. Which is what I would do, which is maybe why I'm not the main protagonist in a YA novel, because I would just communicate everything and then I wouldn't find myself alone and in peril because everyone would know that what I was thinking. So maybe I would make a very bad protagonist because I over-communicate. But she doesn't even say it. She's not even like, holy shit, my arm is healed. She's just kind of meh about it. Another situation that she doesn't freak out enough, I feel like, is on her first date with Noah, and she just passes out and wakes up in his car, and he's just like, oh, well, you know, I just carried you here and I was kind of worried about you, but figure you'd share with me, you know, like when you felt like it. If my first date passed out and was freaking out and looking like they were gonna vomit, I would be upset. I would probably call the police, and maybe Noah Shaw is braver than me, but I don't feel like he reacted very well in that instance. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes when you walk around in a museum, you faint and lose consciousness. It's first date kind of stuff. kind of as I voiced before, I don't feel like Mara is as grateful for Daniel and Joseph as she should be. I just feel like she takes them for granted, and I really detest that in a main character because I loved them, and she was not grateful enough for all of the crap that she put them through that they let her get away with. And then she goes to Daniel like he owes her something because he didn't tell her about her dad's case. Well, you owe him a lifetime of servanthood, Mara, for probably ruining his life a little bit. So get over yourself. One thing that I would have liked to see explored a little bit more was the end of this, the whole plot arc of the case. I felt like was supposed to be the climax of the story and was so underwhelming. Like, Mara's gonna murder some dude because he happens to have the same Rolex watch, which I just don't feel like is sufficient enough to make that call. I don't feel like there was enough evidence of the dad's client being the killer and the one who kidnapped Joseph to make Mara's reaction acceptable. If she had hardcore evidence that this guy did what he did to this girl and to Joseph, I would have been 100% behind her. I would have been like, kill the bitch, Mara. Forget Noah. He's some mamby-pamby healing pixie. You gotta kill him. But I couldn't support her in that decision because, like everything else in Mara's life, it was not logical. She was not making a wise decision because she didn't have enough evidence. What was the evidence? That there was a Rolex watch and that the guy was at her house and met Joseph. And she's like, well, damn, I gotta kill him now because he's clearly guilty. What if the guy stole the watch? What if he was really just dropping off paperwork? What does him dropping off paperwork with Joseph, how does that make him guilty of kidnapping him? What, Mara? What? At the end of the story, as Mara is handling everything else horrifically, she also decides to go turn herself in for murder and things. What? What? Like, I get that she's this tortured soul and she's crazy and feeling responsible for killing your best friend would be really traumatic, but I just don't feel like that was a wise. What? She wanted to be put in juvenile detention center. So what? You can get mad at a guard and murder them? Like, that's not gonna solve the situation. What? Stupid. That is a stupid way to handle that. Because you're still alive and you're putting yourself in a situation where you are not going to be happy and also stressed out, and you know for a fact that when you get pissed off and you dream about murdering people, they die. How is this a good solution to your problems? I think I just didn't like Mara. I think we'll just leave it at that. Noah was fine. I enjoyed him. He was a pretty rich boy with an accent, very sweet and supposedly sexy. I don't know. He is fine. Maybe he gets better. And the brother and the dad and all the other supporting characters were awesome. And then there's just Mara, who basks in her own illogical mess of a life. And I just don't understand. The last thing that I will say about the story itself, and not just railing on friggin' Mara, is that I didn't enjoy that there was no explanation for what they were. That there was they didn't go to figure out why they were the way they were. They just kind of accepted it and wanted to see if it was true. they didn't look up any lore or ask questions. They were just kind of like, well, you kill things and I heal things. Hashtag normal. Let's deal with that. As opposed to being like, well, what are we? Are we aliens? Am I a descendant from Zeus and you are a descendant of Hades and so your power is death? Or is this a thing that we deal with in this world? Maybe we could go to a support group and figure out maybe other people have this problem as well. I don't understand them. Mara and Noah and the way that they choose to do life is very confusing for me. It stresses me out, even thinking about it. I haven't read the evolution of Mara Dyer yet, so hopefully things become more clear and Mara and Noah go to couples therapy and actually learn how to speak to one another, because that would be great for all of us and less infuriating. And if not, my next video, I want to do a Kiss, Marry, Cliff, I think is what it's called. I'm gonna do one of those. Probably gonna cliff everybody. Friggin' cliff Noah until he figures out how to communicate with a female. Okay, that's all. Bye!